Welcome to Stories of the Brave. In this session, I am going to give you details about an oral history project that you could do with your students. It involves looking at videos from the National Veterans Memorial and Museum's video story booth that have been recorded since the opening of the museum. And we've been in partnership working with how we could get these videos in front of more students. Now, what you're going to see in today's session are materials that are going to be geared primarily for grades 5 through 8. But I have worked with high school and elementary teachers who all see ways in which they might want to use these videos in with their students. So stay with us and I'll give you more insights into what we've been working on. Again, the National Veterans Memorial Museum is located in Columbus, Ohio, right in the downtown section. It's been open since 2018 and it's absolutely phenomenal building. So they have been partnered with us. And just so that you know who I am Ellen Cahill with WOSU Classroom. If you would like a bit.ly to this presentation, it is provided right here. And then if you are following along in a live session, please look at the link for the live questions and answers, and I'll be happy to respond to anything that you might have. But if you're seeing a recorded version of this, please feel free to give me an email. So this project really generated out of the fact that the Veterans Memorial Museum had been stockpiling all these videos. So they have like over 300 videos that no one had seen. And so we were looking and we found out about this and we said, how could we use those videos to challenge our young writers? And we wanted to really bring in a way in which they could do this using the eBook tool called Book Creator. If you're not familiar with it, it is a web-based app as well as an app that you can put on an iPad, but you can also use it with Chromepad or Chromebooks, and it is really a powerful, powerful tool. So we thought, what could we do to do that? So what we're going to explore today is I'm going to show you the website that we have created. Now, these materials are all free. You can access them anytime from our WOSU Classroom Stories of the Brave. I will go into more details about really how this project generated out of the Malquist Foundation. In our partnership with the National Veterans Memorial Museum, we'll explore different classroom resources that you don't have to make anything. You could use Google Drawings and the Google Slides that I have in order to help those students get into a drafting where they are really kind of thinking about what those videos that they have watched from the veterans really means to them. You know, what are those emotional pulls that they might have, and offer you the opportunity to join in our community and author an ebook using Book Creator. So again, like I wanted to say is that Stu Malquist has a foundation in which its mission is to promote more recognition for our veterans. And so they are based in Columbus, Ohio, and we've been working with that foundation to provide the funding so that we could create the website. And you can see that Stu Malquist has a lot of interesting artifacts that are really kind of capture a story and kind of bring to light what we hope students will want to explore even more with all the other veterans that we have. So the point of this project is threefold. One, watch one of the videos that have been produced at the National Veterans Memorial and Museum's video story booth. Explore that veteran story, whether it's not necessarily that person in particular, but maybe the event or the period of time, or maybe something that kind of captured the heartstrings of that particular story. And go into a little bit deeper to write an ebook where you can bring in images, videos, music, text, you can put in drawings, just amazing tools inside of Book Creator so that we could share these with others. So really these stories of the brave, with what we want to kind of bring these discovering connections, is what grabs your interest as a student and what emotions do you want to see. We really want to kind of make these stories to be something that's celebratory, that's a moment of gratitude, and to kind of think of a way in which we can honor our veterans beyond just a thank you note or the typical kind of things that we wanted to do. We really wanted to tap into that creative writing process. So on this website, you are going to find a curriculum guide, and you, whether you're grades 5 through 8 or others, can take this and run with it any way you want. But we wanted to kind of give you a lane to work in if you want a little bit more direction. And so we can follow this link going to the Stories of the Brave, and you will find here all the things that you need. So this is all free, accessed anytime. You can see here that we have 3 buttons. We can download the curriculum guide, and I'll take you through the curriculum guide, and that is just basically showing you how this could be presented if you wanted to extend this into a longer time frame. So it could cover anywhere from 1 class session to a week, or maybe even a couple of weeks if you really wanted to kind of get into the research side of it. Then we have the link where you would go and create a book creator book, and you can use our Malquist library in order to create that, but also submit that to us, where we would love to be able to show these books in an exhibit at the National Veterans Memorial Museum. We also at different times offer free classes, and you can see that we have just all of these graphic organizers here for you. But the first thing that's going to be kind of an important place to kind of begin is to think about, let's look at this curriculum guide. And you can see in the curriculum guide, we have it organized with the learning objectives, and we have a pathway that basically is looking at how are students going to, one, find a video that they want to look at and explore that veterans oral history. So you can see that each of these lessons, and there's 5 parts to it, are broken down into a mini lesson. You can view in chat. There's a place where students can do independent work. And then also too, we want these stories to inspire students into becoming more a part of their community. And so we have added a social action. So for instance, on this first day, when you leave school today, notice all the signs of service and sacrifice of others for your freedom and safety. So that could be a first responder, it could be a school teacher, a principal, it could be a special friend who is looking out for him. So just really kind of noting all those folks who make our community strong. So in this, you can see then we move into looking at the stories from different parts of view, using empathy, looking at how these stories strike at our heart and how we could write a poetic narrative using that oral history. We've provided for you links that if you want to look into more research. And then also too, you can see that in these independent work, we have these graphic organizers that help students really craft a story. Again, we have more graphic organizers as we move into that revising and editing process for our books, where you can look at what pictures could we bring in? Are there timepieces for music? Is there something that they might want to draw? That's also another place where you can kind of also look. And then the last piece of this is really kind of taking it and putting this together into a book creator. Now we're open to anything. So it could be one student, it could be a team of students, it could be just a class submission that has several pages to it. So really we are open to whatever you might want to do, but it really is, the books are meant to celebrate the stories of our veterans. And for instance, I have made one that you can kind of see that when you are in Book Creator, and I'm in my Book Creator account, I can go ahead and have this book read. And so you can see that there are different elements to this book that I basically have added in images. So I upload images I can change the text font. You can see that these are some images that I taken when I went to go ahead and visit the museum itself. And I'm just basically writing kind of an introduction into the project and kind of sharing with you all the possibilities. You also are able to add in audio, so students could have a special quote or a thought, or even capture a thought from a veteran that they may know themselves. Maybe it's a family member or someone that they have a close relationship with. And so in this, you can kind of see that I can add in maps. I can also bring in videos, and this, so that this ebook is just an incredible tool. So that's kind of what we're working towards to look at. And to kind of explain a little bit about how on this website, you've got that curriculum guide, but you also have the story catalog. And inside the story catalog, we have over 100 videos that I have gone ahead and along with my national JROTC from Zanesville High School, they helped me organize our catalog. So all these videos are organized first by campaigns. They have a title. This link takes you to a YouTube site, so that if you wanted to have the transcript or have closed caption, you're able to do that. It tells you who's featured in there, also to what service branch and the different relationships or the different themes. So we have 3 different themes. We have the relationships that, to your fellow service people, or perhaps as a parent to the family, to your special relationship that you had, the growth experience that you've had through this. There's also just different vignettes that are really kind of just something that has been a moment that's been very memorable to you. You will see that because these veterans are coming into the museum and they're going into this video story booth, you will find stories across many generations. So you will see service people from their 70s and 80s all the way into their 20s. You also see videos from women as well as from men. And then you'll also see wives, daughters, sons, also kind of sharing their experience with them. So you can kind of see there. Now, just in case looking at all this is like, okay, I only have so much time, so where could I kind of really start? I have also added a link inside our presentation where I have selected about, less than 15 or so, a dozen from each of the campaigns, some just very unique stories that are kind of a great way to kind of get started. So if you wanted to pick one of these videos to show your students and just kind of say, what does this mean to you? What do you think the emotions are of the veteran? I want to kind of go through and just show you a couple videos just so that you can see what's inside that catalog and to kind of spark interest. So I'm going to go ahead and show this, called The First Night Dream.
My most memorable experience is the first day that I arrived in Iraq. It was August 16th, 2003. We got there about 6 o'clock in the morning. It was 90 degrees. And at first I was thinking, this isn't too bad. So by the time we got settled into our tents there at Baghdad International, it was about 10 o'clock and everybody went to sleep. And I woke up, or I was having this dream that I was baking something in the oven. And when I leaned over to open up the door to check what I was baking in my dream, the blast of heat hit me in the face from the stove. Well, at that moment, I woke up, and that was the heat. That was the wind blowing the heat through the tent. And so that was most memorable to me because that was just a indicator of things to come. That was my first experience of 136 degrees.
So inside this story, this is a great thing that he kind of sets it up where it's like it kind of set up what was to come. And so looking at that, that could spark some interest in your students to go, what was it like to be in a desert war zone and what happened around me and what does 136 degrees feel like. And so those are the kind of things, and you can kind of see that this is a younger person who is submitting kind of his little memorable moment. So on here, after you've watched these in the story catalog, and they're all 3 minutes or less, they are again organized by campaigns. Here is the link for that shorter, about 15 or so videos if you kind of want to do, but it really is exploring what is an oral history, why are they important? And after they've watched those, I have provided a reflection guide where you can ask the students what were three things that you discovered after you watched the video, to interesting details and a question you might have, just kind of to generate, after you view and chat about it, what kinds of emotions and what do you think kind of spark on here. This is another one that I won't take time to see, but it's another one where it really does capture the story from the eyes of a sister who had a younger brother who goes off into the army, and what that means to her, about her relationship with her brother and their family. And those might be a story in which it kind of really captures the fact of how powerful a poetic narrative can be to express yourself and how you think about someone else, and also to the moments of gratitude. So again, in this website, I'm just kind of showing you really quickly that we have some storytelling organizers. So if you want to use those and just take those Google Slides and put them into a Google Classroom or work with them in centers. You can see I also have different things that, you know what, they're looking more deeply into this. So if you have more time to use those research sites and you're looking at causes and problems, and that this little story is a micro story when you've been studying this period of time in a larger context, you can kind of marry those two together in that. Also, too, looking at investigating details, some little tips and things that might be kind of just little nuggets of information that in this short video they talked about, and students can kind of go ahead and explore a little bit deeper. And then looking at creating a storyboard, because when we move into uh, the book creator, you can bring in images and pictures. And so if students are able to find anything like we have in Stu Malquist that we've got, he was a pilot. So we have all these artifacts that would really make their way into a great little story that they can kind of organize. Again, we've provided those research sites. If you are here looking for credit for this, here is your certificate code. So I'll take a moment so that you can write that down. And then if you have any thoughts or questions, you can write those in the show notes. But what I want to do move now is just quickly show you Book Creator. Now, I don't have time to go in and to give you all the details of what Book Creator is, but if you've already got an account, I'd love for you to join my library that I have for this oral history project. But I'm going to show you really quickly how you can go ahead and create a free account. This is totally free. You don't have to spend any money, and it's just a powerful tool. You'll want to make sure that when you go to bookcreator.com, they have basically two layers. Make sure that you go to the back layer, sign in with Google. It'll ask you a couple things. And then I want you to use this code to join my library so that you can see all the things that I have in that library that you can use to share with your students. I even have a couple template books that if you wanted to copy them, you can go ahead and do that. And in Book Creator, you can see that you have ways in which that you can import files and images from your computer. You can use the camera to do a still picture or also a video. and it's unlimited in the number of minutes that you have on that video. You have a pen that has all kinds of features, highlighting, drawing it. There's even an auto draw tool to that. There's different kinds of ways in which you can use text and also recording your voice. You can see that there's lots of ways in which you can kind of change the formatting of all the media that you're doing. And then there's also the section called reading. So let's jump out of this presentation really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can sign into Book Creator. Again, I've gone ahead and I just went to bookcreator.com. And I'm going to go ahead and I've got that teacher sign in. If you sign in as a student, that's what it happens when you log in, but you want to make sure you sign in as a teacher. And when you sign as a teacher in Book Creator, you basically are creating a library in which you can share books that students can read, and students can also publish inside your library. In a free account, you get 40 books. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in with my email. And you can see that this is in my library. So I have in my library my Stories of the Brave, which I've already read to you. And I have a couple templates here that if you wanted to go ahead and to use those, you could go ahead and just make a copy of that book and put it into your library or keep it in this on this bookshelf. And I can work with you on how that looks. But what I want you to do is I will want you to go ahead is once you're in your Book Creator account, go ahead into the Join a Library. And this is where you are going to go ahead and put in this code. You are going to type in this code, SSJGBKK, and that will allow you to come into the library and you will be able to make books. All right. You can see here that in this library, you can collaborate, so you can have more than one author in on this book, and that some of these are already published online. So I have on the website more information on how to use Book Creator. So if you are new to it, I have provided some resources for you on that. So what I'd love to do is also show you that there are a lot of different videos. And so I've added another one in the presentation, waking up in the combat zone. And so that's kind of an interesting one that really kind of captures this. And again, I want to show you the certificate code for this session. And I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope that this compels you to think, boy, that would be a great idea for me to use in the coming weeks with my students. And I could really use this to jump into some poetic narrative writing, some research, but also connecting with veterans and working more with social action. If you would like any more information on this, feel free to contact me at wosu.org. And I also work with Stacy Queen, who has a lot of virtual resource materials that if you would like, or if you want to coordinate a session with her and she walks you through the museum more, she's more than willing to do that. And there's her contact information there. Best to you all, stay well, and I look forward to seeing what you create with your students watching these veteran oral histories and using that story to craft a ebook using Book Creator.